Hey folks, Cool18 here, coming at you with another video for the Steam Summer Getaway Sale. We're going to talk about what's worth buying and what maybe is worth avoiding. Just a reminder, the deals from yesterday are still up for now, so if you missed them, they're still there. Steam is highlighting specifically the Skyrim Legendary Edition, which is 40% off, which isn't quite as deep of a discount as some of the other games, and still is relatively expensive. Of course, Skyrim is still a very popular game, and a very big game, and a very good game. There's nothing wrong with it. The Legendary Edition comes with all the big expansion DLC. Hearthfire is probably the more sort of like mini DLC one, which gives you the sort of ability to make your own house and that sort of thing, which is pretty cool. And these others add considerable amounts of content. And all in all, the expansion DLCs are considered to be pretty good. If you do have the base game already, you can get the expansions at actually 50% off, which is not bad. But if you don't have any of it, you can save a few bucks by getting the whole thing as the bundle. Of course, you don't actually need the DLC to enjoy Skyrim. The base game is very good and still contains a hell of a lot of hours worth of gameplay, especially since it's integrated with the Steam Workshop and actually just has excellent mod support in general. And most of the mods are available through the Steam Workshop now, so it's really easy to just subscribe to a bunch of them and dramatically transform how the game plays, improves performance on PC, gives you tons and tons more content and more features. And mods are great, and Skyrim does it well, and yeah, you're going to get lots of use out of it. Now, the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, not Expanded Edition. So this is a Dungeons & Dragons game, and is possibly still the finest Dungeons & Dragons game to ever come to PC. Specifically, Baldur's Gate 2 is actually possibly the finest. The first Baldur's Gate isn't bad. The Enhanced Edition is a redone version of this classic, since it is quite an old game. This is made to run better on modern computers, runs at much higher resolutions, and actually uses the Baldur's Gate 2 engine. Well, they're both similar engines, but the Baldur's Gate 2 engine added quite a bit more features, classes, spells, yada yada yada. And this is a much more complete game. It is very, very enjoyable. Do hunt around, do a little bit of Googling, and I'll try to put some links down below. It's possible that you can get as good of a price, if not a better price, through some other websites. And part of the issue is I'm not sure that the developers of the Enhanced Edition are actually making much money on Steam. I know for a while there, they were getting very, very little royalties or revenue from the Steam edition, just because of the way that they set up their contracts. It's like, I don't know, Atari, who just owns the license or whatever, gets the vast majority of the money from Steam. So I will see if I can look something up and put a link down below, but you can do some hunting around. Anyway, I mean, the game is stunningly, stunningly good. Yes, it's a little bit dated at this point, so, you know, part of it is going to be nostalgia on my part, that makes me believe it's much, much better than it is, but it is great. You can play with up to 6 people in, because it's a 6-man party or 6-person party, and you can play with up to 6 actual players in general in a cooperative kind of setting. Now, the last time I tried to do this, it was a little wonky still to get the networking working properly. Now, this was a couple of months ago, and I know that at the time they were talking about building their own matchmaking and lobby system, and I have no idea if that's happened yet. I suspect that it's not quite done, so it works better if you use Hamachi for networking, and it does make the game much more enjoyable like that. Of course, you've got to buy some more copies, but it's a pretty good way to play. Next up, Metro is a really cool first-person shooter, actually. I think the reviews for it were even kind of decent. Yeah, it's, you know, generally favorable reviews, but I know that there's a lot of people that really enjoy this sort of post-apocalyptic game. I think some people will say it might have, like, slightly similar to vibe to something like Fallout, but, you know, only in the sort of general category. It's definitely its own game that stands out in very interesting ways, and as I believe it is a sequel to the franchise, yeah, Metro 2033, also relatively highly regarded. So there you go, kind of a cool game there. Grid, this is a racing game, right? I have to stop talking about all the games on the list because it's like I have no idea what a lot of these are. It's like Grid 2, cars, vroom vroom. All right, moving on. Trials, motorcycles, vroom vroom. EVE Online. Okay, so EVE Online is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game that is set in space. You have spaceships. You fly around in spaceships. I mean, you have your own personal kind of character, but you don't really go around as your character very often. You're mostly just flying ships. Now, your character does have stats that have a big impact on a lot of different things. The big thing about EVE Online is that it is really, the learning curve is steep, but once you get in it, the payoff is really quite impressive, because you can almost do anything in the game. I mean, you start off with like this little tiny crappy ship that can barely mine asteroids for money, and then later on you can literally be the head of huge player-created corporations that have thousands of members and control huge, vast sectors of space, build their own star bases, and build ships that are literally worth thousands of real-life dollars. There's some cool mechanics in EVE in that you can pay for your EVE subscription. So MMO, there is a subscription. You can pay for the subscription using money you generate in-game. And so it means there's a real currency translation from the in-game money to real-world money. And some of the big, huge ships take so many in-game resources, so much in-game money, and take so long to build, they're literally valued at like thousands of dollars, or maybe $1,000, I'm not sure. And these fleet battles between these corporations, there will be thousands of players sometimes in one sector. So much so that the server actually has to slow down time in that sector because, you know, just the CPU lag on the servers. So you get these massive battles where at the end of the day, incredible vast amounts of real world money have been destroyed, and it's just brilliant. You have to be quite Machiavellian, I think, to really make your way in those kind of situations. But I don't know, EVE, the payoff is huge if you play, but then you won't play anything else. Okay, Monaco is a game I've been dying to try. It looks like, first of all, I love the sort of art style that's going on here. The game is a game where you are playing as part of a squad that's pulling off some sort of heist. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm describing that pretty well. You're some sort of band of thieves. And it's also multiplayer, so you're playing this with a group of people. You can be single player or co-op, and you've got a variety of different characters to choose from. Each have a variety of special abilities, and you're trying to complete these heists. And I have just been absolutely and utterly intrigued by this game since it came out. So I'm, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and add it to my cart right now, and I'll come back and pick that up pretty soon. Civ 5! Hey, you guys watch my channel, you should know what Civ 5 is. If you've been waiting to buy it, now is the time to do it. It is worth mentioning a couple of things. First of all, you can get the gold edition, which comes with all the little like civilization packs. Also gods and kings, okay? And that's a pretty good deal. If you're going to buy this game, it's probably worth getting the gold edition. Now, if you already have the base game and you're wondering about getting gods and kings, it should be noted that Brave New World gives you all of the features from Gods and Kings, save for some scenarios and the ability to play as the civilizations that were introduced in Gods and Kings. So if you're just interested in the features, you can just pick up Brave New World. Now, it has just come out, so it is not on sale. They actually accidentally put this on sale the very first day of the Steam sale and upset everyone who'd already bought the game because they put it on for like 33% off. And it was like, well, even the people who pre-ordered only get 10% off. So as an apology, they sent all of those people a copy of Civ 4, which, I mean, yeah, whatever. So I gave it away because obviously I already had a copy. But that's it. I would probably recommend, if you have not picked up Civ 5 at this point, just get the gold edition, and you're going to be perfectly happy. I suppose if you have the base edition, you could pick up the Gods and Kings, you know, at 75% off, just to unlock all of the extra civs, even if you are, even if you're planning on getting Brave New World at some point. So there you have it. That's the recommendation there. I mean, it's certainly a very good purchase. Now, Awesomenauts, it's another one on my list of, I can't believe I have not played this game yet because it just looks so gorgeous. I'm not even going to try to like properly describe it because all I'd be doing is sort of like repeating what you can see and read there. So, God, I'm not very helpful at some of these, am I? Train Simulator! I have a video for Train Simulator. So this is one of the games that is like, kind of almost the biggest joke on Steam, because let's take a look. Train Simulator 2013. Let's look at what DLC might be available for this. There we go. See all DLC. Woo! Total price, even at 60% off on most DLCs, some 50, some 70. If you were to buy all the DLC on sale at an average of maybe 60% off, you'd be paying $1,200 for it. And that's what makes this game so like a little bit of a joke on Steam, because you keep seeing all these DLC packages come out. But the reason is that this is a niche product that not a lot of people are going to buy. But people who are into like toy trains or just train spotting or playing train simulators, they usually want a specific route. They want a route from like their hometown to London or that sort of thing. And so they keep making these specific routes, and it has to be just the exact right train engine, very kind of particular. So they go and make that, and they put those on there, and people pay to get that one. And I mean, it takes a certain amount of artist time, programmer time to do each one of these, and they're not going to sell very many copies of the NKP S2 class Berkshire? Or McGird Berkshires. So, they price it at a base price of $20 to sort of recoup that. And, it's fine, but you're mostly driving in a straight line on a track. Sometimes you got to slow down. Sometimes you got to stop. You're driving a train. If you're into trains, there is no better train simulator than Train Simulator 2013. I did do a video for this when I was drunk that I will put a link down below. It was a combination of Train Simulator and Flight Simulator. I hope you will enjoy. I think that covered all of these. So that's good. I'm going to peek down here and see what's what. Wow, Star Trek. Did this ever get patched or improved or anything like this? Because when it came out, it was pretty gosh darn miserable. A lot of potential. I mean, it was put in as a movie tie-in, and obviously that's always a disaster. A recipe for disaster. I believe it was meant to explain the events between the first Star Trek movie, that is to say, like, the remakes, these new edition Star Trek movies, the first one and the second one. I think it's supposed to fill the gap between those two. So if you're really a fan of the story and you want to know what's going on there, you could certainly look at the games that way. But be aware, I think, look at it, at that point, it just starts to be kind of ridiculous. That's just like some hate reviews at that point. People are just like putting down low reviews for spite. But it's still a sign of the general kind of opinion of the game at release. So just be warned if you're looking at the Star Trek game that, buyer beware. Bully, this is one of the games that I bought in one of those Steam sales ages ago, and I never got around to playing it. And I really have to at some point. I'm quite intrigued by it. This is like Grand Theft Auto, but, grade 6 edition. Sort of everything about it. It's just what it is, right? And like Rockstar games and all that, but you're going at some sort of school and dealing with those issues. And I've been like very, very intrigued by this for ages, and I still have not gotten around to playing it because I don't know. I guess I'm busy playing other games. Good God. Anyway, that'll bring us to the end of this rambly video. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.